And welcome to the Powerlifting America Texas Fall Championships here live in Houston, Texas. Brought to you by SBD. I am Ryan Sixpack Lapidat, accompanied in the booth by none other than the reigning 57-kilo world champion Natalie Richards, also best lifter at the IPF World Championships, and heading to Sheffield.
Howdy. Yeehaw.
Howdy.
Welcome to Texas.
Yeehaw. We got ourselves some scraps today in the morning session. As we start off with Pamela Riley, 115 loaded on the bar for Pamela in the 69-kilo Masters division.
All right, nice and easy, 3 white lights to open up the meet.
Up next, 115 kilos, Matthew Bascom. Oh, nope. Heather McConnell, 63-kilo class. But I see Matthew still waiting in the wings. Let's see what. Yeah, we're back. So Matthew, 115 kilos to open up here.
Come on, Matthew. Let's get an easy opener here.
Really pretty opener there.
Slow and steady, and Matthews on the board. Very well controlled, hits depth, no major issues. And now 120 kilos being loaded. A little shot in the back room to see the athletes prepping. As 120 gets loaded for Heather McConnell.
Now each athlete has 60 seconds to go ahead and get the squat command, so she's taking her time coming out and getting set under the bar.
Master 1, 63-kilo lifter. No doubt on depth.
Yeah, she sunk that. Always feels good to sink your opener.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't matter if you're local level or right up to worlds, that first squat is the most nerve-wracking
Yeah.
squat. Get on the board. And 130 kilos for Eli Fitzhugh. Eli lifting in the sub-junior 83s.
Sub-junior division in the raw, 83 kilos, starting off with 130 kilos.
That's a high bar squat, Natalie.
Yep.
Let's go, Eli.
Looked like a last warm up there, but moves super nice as an opener.
Yeah, when you're handling a sub-junior, you really don't want to get too crazy with the opener.
Yeah.
You're dealing with a young lifter, and last thing you need is, even if the opener is a lot heavier than they suspected and it can rattle them a little bit,
Yep.
you want it smooth, easy. They step off the platform and they think, I got a lot left in the tank. 140 for Jay Banks. Hawkins, sub-junior 74. We got some sub-juniors here.
Yep. Oh, seems to be an issue on the platform.
And this would be why you want a weight that is super light, that even if your young, inexperienced lifter gets a stitch rattled by some unexpected variables, even on their worst day, they're going to hit that weight.
All right, he's back up now. There was just an issue with the rack height. They fixed it and gave him the all clear to come on the platform.
Wow, that was quick. Buried it, and that was quick.
Super confident opener. No issues there.
We're off to a good start, folks. Next up, be Talia Gonzalez.
Talia Gonzalez with 142.5, staying in the sub-juniors, 84-kilo class.
Yep, it's super exciting to see all the young people out today building the sport of powerlifting and really getting into it.
Let's go. This is pretty big, folks. Come on, Talia. Easy walkout. Wonderful opener.
Nice and easy, drops it into the hole. Beautiful bar path.
Looks like we're starting to add some weight here, jumping all the way up to 175 kilos for Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel Restrepo in the open 93.
Bars loaded for Daniel. Let's go, Daniel.
And so far, everybody just cruising through their openers, and that's what you want to see.
Yep, nice and easy. Always want a nice, easy opener because you just got to build that total. You can't open balls to the wall and have nowhere to build.
Yeah, you want some room to grow. And 210, and you're right, we're throwing kilos on awfully quick.
This is also in the 83 class, it looks like. 210 for opener.
Defe Ukpedai,
Bar is loaded.
83 kilo open.
Come on, Tamari. Make it look easy. Come on. Yes, sir.
Nicely done. And the spotters and loaders are moving quickly, and that might matter.
And they're also really moving this rack height up. Let's see where we're going to next.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a forecasting. We're getting into the
know.
big gentlemen.
Up here's Billy Ahern.
215 for Billy Ahern in the 105 kilo class. We're in the open division.
Come on, Billy. Come on, Billy. Easy walkout.
That was a really pretty opener for 215 kilos.
Yeah, so far, obviously nobody's missed, but also nobody's gone too close to the limit. And I've seen it in the amount of sessions that I've commentated on. There's always at least a couple lifters, sure, they hit their opener, but it looks like a second or third, and you're wondering, did you cut too much?
Right.
Was there big travel? What's going on with this person? But so far, everybody's made their openers look like openers. And that can be easier said than done. And we're moving relatively quickly
Oh, yeah.
into the second round of squats, 120. Pamela Riley, 69 kilo master one.
Yep, and she's hyped up, ready to go, hit her second.
I was about to say, you start to see the
Yeah.
intensity rise when you get into the second and third rounds.
It may be early, but these lifters are ready.
That's a fact. It is early. Little more work, but it's there.
Yep.
The judges, I believe, agree. Didn't see the lights there, but oh, okay, never mind.
It might have been either for, I believe, soft knees at the start, if she unlocked and relocked her knees, or it might have been for depth. there.
Look like depth with the red card. So Yeah, I actually looked around off monitor to see, and some of the spotters were in the way doing the job, though. So I couldn't see the depths. But is what it is. 125. Matthew Boscom, 105 junior. And talking about lifting early, I was talking to Russell Orhe, who might swing by today, he said, and he prefers to work out early. Wakes up as early as 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to hit his sessions. That's definitely not me.
Get it in, get it done. Come on, Brian.
2 to 1, it's good, and that's all he needs. And now you're starting to see some red lights as the weight gets heavier.
Yep.
A little bit of self-preservation kicks in. People cut the depth just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And 135 for Heather McConnell, 63 kilo master 1.
But at least with everyone on their second attempts, they already have their first locked in, so they're automatically in the meet, which is always a solid feeling.
That's right. Yeah, after this, I mean, the worst case scenario, you still move on, though.
Right.
Before you get the first one in, the worst case scenario is the worst.
Right. You do not, in fact, move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no question about depth on that one. She sunk that just as she did her opener.
Well controlled. And even if we have a missed lift due to depth, we don't have any missed lifts due to strength yet. Everybody's in the pocket. Good attempt selection based off of that. It's going to come down to execution. And 140, Eli looking to execute on his second attempt. Sub-junior, 83. Moved
that
well.
looked just as good as his opener, yeah. Moved really well.
So I'm not surprised. At least one call on depth there. It's on the line.
Yeah.
Economical is the term I like to use.
Yeah.
You don't go any lower than you have to. And Talia Gonzalez, 147.5, 5 kilo jump in the 84 kilo, staying in the sub juniors. What kind of jumps do you like to take on your squats from opener to second?
Definitely anywhere from in the 7.5 kilo range, give or take 2.5 there, depending on how the opener moved. You don't want to jump too heavy to where you'll feel unbalanced or it's too heavy, but anywhere in the, I think 5 to 10 kilos are probably good for a 57-ish or middleweight woman.
It is a game of marginal calls there because, like you said, too big and it feels heavy on your back.
Feels very heavy, yeah.
But too small and you have 3 lifts too close to your top end and you get exhausted.
It's always a challenge if you open too heavy and you're forced to make those small jumps because every single lift is just so much more taxing.
Yeah, but it's going to be a long day.
It is going to be a long day.
155 for Jay Banks Hawkins, 74 kilo sub junior.
A little bit of a bigger jump here. He jumped 15 kilos, so either he opened very lightly or it's moving very well.
Looks like it's moving very well.
I would say it's moving very well. Expect maybe a 10 kilo jump then to his third.
And I like that. So obviously they open them super light, but you're dealing with a sub junior 74. Get him on the board. And 185 for Daniel Restrepo in the 93 kilo open. Little work for those extra 10 kilos.
Held it at the top. Looked like a good lift to me, and the judges say... Yep.
2 to 1. And this is where, when you're getting scrappy with it, if you're not fully locked out, if there's any down up, and you also can't beat any commands, keep your knees locked, You got to be upright.
Yep. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the red card is usually for a depth
That's
or
right.
a strength issue, and then the other cards are for up and down, to the knees unlocking, things like that. A little bit more technical.
That's right. 215. Tabare in the 83 kilo open. And he never gets bullied by the weight. 5 kilo jump, so relatively conservative.
Yeah.
You know, you were saying as a 57 kilo female, you would take 7.5. He's taking 5, so stands to reason. But some people like working within close range of the top end, or maybe even take a bigger jump on their third. It's really interesting. Like, we've seen lifters who do openers and second attempts relatively small to the big third because they're conserving that energy and they know I got one big one in me for each of the lifts. The drawback on that, if you miss that third,
It's a lot of kilos.
yeah, you lose a lot of kilos. But
It's really interesting to see the different attempt selections that people plan going into meet days, because
Right.
some countries do a certain type of attempt selection versus others, so it's super interesting to see what the lifters do.
227.5, we're into the 500 pounds. Billy O'Hearn, 105 open.
Really pretty squat from Billy.
Yeah, he's got more in the tank.
Maybe another 12.5 kilo jump. We'll see what he does for his third.
I'd be okay with that, the way that moved.
And we are already on third attempt, starting to lift back on Pamela.
Yeah, we're moving quickly. Now, Pamela Riley, 69 kilo master one. If you remember, missed this on depth, not strength. Just needs to drop a stitch more. If she was off, she wasn't miles off.
Yeah, she's close. These are world-class referees, so they are judging to the world standard. So I'm sure she'll get this. She can sit a little bit lower into the holder.
And we all know how those IPF world standards are.
Strict. We like them that way.
We're not loosey-goosey.
No, loosey-goosey. All right, she's getting hyped for it. Let's go, Pamela.
It was more work, but it looked deeper.
I think it did look better. I think her descent down into the hole looked more confident, and she's got it. Yeah, 2 white lights is all you need. 2 to 1.
Yeah, it definitely was a little bit more work, and still gets it on the board. And it builds the confidence when you miss the lift, come back and hit it.
Yep. Much better than if you were to hypothetically jump up in weight and then miss again, whether on strength or on depth.
Yeah.
It's always so much harder to do that.
And that's the conversation the lifters have with the handlers. You miss on a technical thing, go up in weight, and then you can miss on weight now.
Right.
135, Matthew Boscombe in the 105 juniors. Very low bar, wide grip on Matthew. But as long as his chest is up, you get the start command, and he does.
Looked very smooth, just like his opener and his second. Let's see what the refs say. Yep.
2 to 1 is good.
I think one hip may just sit naturally higher than the other, looking at the front view on this, which
That-
makes sense.
That's me. I for sure have one hip that floats, feels like 3 feet higher some
Yeah.
days. It got here a half hour after I arrived. 137.5, Heather McConnell, 63 kilo master one. Some hips just dance to their own beat there. And 7.5 kilo jump. So 10 kilo jump from the opener, 7.5 kilo jump from the second attempt. Covering a lot of ground here in the squat event.
Based on how her attempts have moved, I think that was a good weight selection. Open a little bit lower, build the confidence, and then jump to see if you can hit a PR or match their platform PR.
See what you got. Come on, Heather. Hey, get steady. We got you. Come on.
You know what?
Aw.
Might have had another. I was gonna say she might have had another 2.5 in her, but by her expression, that was a significant squat for her.
Yeah.
Coming in, she's probably like, "This is a good squat. If we end off here, she got it." And it's easy 20/20 hindsight to be like, "Well, 2.5 more I could have had."
Yep, you'd much rather say, oh man, I had 2.5, and oh, I wish I didn't do 2.5 more on the platform.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
152.5. Talia Gonzalez, 84 kilo sub-junior class.
Let's go, drive it. Yes, ma'am.
Yep, 3 white lights for her. Everything moved well.
3 for 3 for Talia.
This is a bit bigger jump. You see that Eli jumped 130, 140, now 155. So
Yeah.
he's going up 15 kilos.
Eli Fitzhugh, and we're in the sub-junior 83s, but I tell you what, 140 moved very well for Eli.
If he's feeling good, maybe this will trip a PR or be a PR in general for him. So he might just feel like he's going for it today.
Let's go, Eli.
Oh, the depth isn't there, though.
I think he just cut it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Red card for depth there. Strength, no issue, but just a little bit heavier on the back. Probably wanted to cut it a little bit as he went down.
Sometimes, I mean, you had alluded to that earlier, when the weight goes up, you start to sometimes, if it feels heavy, and it's going to be much heavier on the back,
Yeah.
15 kilos, sometimes you react unexpectedly, and it's just self-preservation kicks in. 160 for Jay Banks Hawkins. We're in the sub-junior still, but in the 74s. This is a 5 kilo jump.
Oh, it's pretty. I think he had a couple more kilos in there.
3 white lights, and yeah, I'd agree with you. He's got a little more in the tank.
Some people may also realize that if they save a little bit on squats, they feel much better on deadlifts, so that could also be a game day strategy they're taking into account when planning these attempt selections.
Yeah, even if you get your 3rd squat, if it's a crazy grinder, that can impact your deadlift. And 187.5 for Daniel Restrepo, 93 kilo open.
Yeah, I know the second was a bit of a struggle, so he may just be wanting to take as little jump up as he can to save a little bit of energy, but still get a couple kilos more on his total.
Yeah, I think it's appropriate. Sometimes you see people completely empty the tank on the second attempts. They coming out for the 3rd, and it's like, my friend, ooh, wow, tons of heart, but nope.
Thank you to the spotters and loaders there for making sure that he's safe.
Yeah, they stuck with him. Wait until he called it off himself. I was about to say, so sometimes when you grind in your second, you might as well not come out for the 3rd, because if you know it's going to be a failed effort, but you're just going to empty the tank further and negatively impact your bench, your deadlift, and empty your resources way too early.
Or
Not
even, risk injury,
right.
If you don't think you have it.
Tabori will move up 12.5 kilos to 227.5 in the 500-pound range, 83 kilo open class.
Interesting jumps here. He went 5 kilos, then 12.5. So
Yeah.
let's see if he's either playing mind games with the competition, with the weight selection, or with me. But let's see how this goes.
Yeah. Let's see them call this one.
Oh, wow.
You know what? So here's what I think, Matt. I think he wanted to be in the 500-pound club,
Yeah.
and that it was that or bust.
Yeah.
That was getting loaded, so he was probably like, look it, let me manage a little bit of, get some weight on my back, but manage my energy resources and get into that 500. It worked, and 237.5 for Billy O'Hearn, 105 kilo class in the open. We got a mixed bag. We're bouncing from sub-junior to open to masters and all different weight classes. And who's that?
We have the Flight 2 coming up in the back. I think Billy's closing out Flight 1 here. beautiful squat for Billy. Looked like some pretty deep squatting there, 3 white lights.
And if Billy's going to close off flight 1, he closes it off in style as we move immediately with no break into flight 2 and begin with the openers. And Marshall Powell, 93 kilo open Marshall, in a heated social media back and forth with Pete Spence.
Now, Marshall and Pete work for SBD, who are sponsoring today's meet. This is going to be just a fun matchup to see both of them back on the platform and a little bit of a rivalry.
Well, let's put a pin in fun. Heated.
Heated.
I have other adjectives. Heated.
This is
bitter.
aggressive.
Bitter. Aggressive. Okay, wow, that was
Typical
smooth.
Marshall squat.
3 white lights.
3 white lights for Marshall. He, based on his training, that moved exactly as expected. He usually tempos the weight down a little bit into the hole to hit depth and then fires out. Kind of how you see an equipped lifter kind of squat, nice and controlled.
15 kilos, 473 pounds.
And 215 for Travis Moody, 105 open class.
Very nice. 3 white lights.
Lift is good.
Up next, Pedro Tavani with 220 kilos, 485.
We got some big openers here. People are opening almost in that 500 range, 220 for the men's who are open 105 Pedram.
Wow, okay, that was right on point for an opener.
It's pretty cool to see how fast these guys can throw up 220 kilos for an opener.
Right on point, and there he is,
The man, the legend.
Pete Spence, 120 kilo category, 220 kilos loaded for his opener. Pete coming back after a long hiatus. Previous personal best, 225 kilos. We're within 5 kilos of that. Training has been going good.
Training has been going very good.
And Pete is a large gentleman.
Very smooth, very smooth.
Very nice. No question on depth there. I think they maxed out the arms, though. I don't think it can go any higher than what they have it on set for Pete. A big jump to Sean Martinez, 275 opener in the 120 class as well.
Two 120s. We got some big boys in the morning flight. And 275 will already tip us into the 600-pound range for an opener.
You can see the weight getting heavier. More spotters are coming on the platform to make sure the lifters are always safe.
It was quick. We'll see what they say about depth. It was almost so fast it was difficult to see from this range. Yeah, so 2-1, not good on depth, and I'll be honest, it was so fast it was difficult for me to see, but I'm not on the platform, and you saw the refs lean in.
It's always harder to see as well sometimes with the heavier weight classes just because they are looking at the hip crease. So it can almost be you have to go a little bit lower to make it believable depth for the judges.
Malachi Beltrain, 275 stays on the bar for Beltrain, 105 junior. much better. And you know what? When the lifter before you misses depth and you hit depth, it looks different.
Yeah.
They kind of set the tone where, okay, that's high. It doesn't take much. Sink it a little lower. The strike zone's established. 297.5. Matthew Cronin, 120 in the open class.
And these spotters and loaders are absolutely flying. This meet is very fast-paced. Everyone's doing a really great job.
Yeah, when you got a good spotting and loading team, you just fly through. If you got a team that's a little tired and ragged, they're slow to load. Wow, those sessions can drag on. We've probably all been to both. Opening just shy of 300 kilos.
Yep. Depth looks good. And 3 white lights, judges agree.
Andres Soto, 305 in the 120 kilo class. 120 plus, sorry, and I remember Andres from the first Powerlifting America Nationals. I believe he's a Joey Flex athlete.
And he is requesting that the arms come in a little bit, which you can certainly do to make sure that you unrack it without, or he's making the arms out, sorry, to make sure the unrack feels better for him. Some people prefer the arms in with their grip, some prefer it out. You can always let the spotting loading crew know.
Easy one.
Three white lights and Soto's on the board.
All right, we are back to the top of the flight here. We got Marshall Powell jumping 15 kilos, do 200.
200 kilos even for Marshall Powell. What do you think about this 15 kilo jump, Natalie?
Based on Marshall's technique and grind, I think this will be right in his wheelhouse. And looking at his best squat, he's just a little bit shy, or he's actually a little bit over by 7.5 kilos.
So both him and Pete Spence obviously had great training. If they're going head up on kilos, Pete looks, well, it's a little early. We're asking.
Yeah,
That's a little early. Let me not get ahead of myself.
We're too excited for this. But this would be a huge squat for Marshall.
Very controlled descent.
That was great. Marshall has had a great off-season of training, prep training, eating into a weight class. Just smashed pretty much his best squat there.
That was a very controlled descent. The flip side, the judges have all day to scrutinize your depth, but he gets it in 2-1 on the board, 15 more kilos towards his total, as Travis Moody will attempt 225 for his second attempt in the 105 open.
Let's go, Travis. Come on.
Looks like a solid second attempt. Not super fast, but not super hard. Nice and clean.
Yeah, you do want to work for your second attempts, otherwise you're starting to leave kilos on the table. Unless you're that odd lifter who likes to go all in on that third.
Pete is taking a 10-kilo jump here up to 230, which would also be a best for him as well. So training's going great. Both these guys are hitting nice PRs on their seconds.
Entering the 500-pound club if he hits this. He was also close previously with 225. This is a big club to join, but Pete's a big boy. And you can tell by the look on his face at the top, he's feeling good, he's feeling confident. Gives the thumbs up to the coach. We're all good here.
He's almost too tired of the weight. The weight is not challenging him enough with that facial expression.
232.5 for Pedram in the 105 Open.
Is loaded. Come on, T.
I hear the crowd chanting Pete. That's what I'll call him too in 232.5.
Three white lights.
Beautiful squat there.
As 275 gets loaded once again for Sean Martinez. Sean missing this on his opener. If you remember, it was a depth call. It was fast. It was super fast, actually. Very strong, but cut it. Now this is where you start to wonder, was he squatting high in training? Did that feel normal to him?
Right. Yep, I think taking this again was a good call. If you ever miss it, an opener on technicality, you don't want to miss the next one on strength. So good just to retake the weight. You can never go back down after you put it on the bar.
Right, I'd agree with that for the local level, state level, sometimes national level, until you're fighting for a national team spot for at Worlds or whatever, and you're like, I can't back down, I have to move up regardless. But those are rare situations. That looked better.
I thought that looked just as good as his first. It's hard from this angle.
I thought better.
Good.
There we go.
It might just be that one side sits a little bit higher, and then the first lift just didn't look as convincing. But either way, he's on the board now with 275.
And 297.5 as we get close to that 300 kilo range. Beltran. 105 junior.
It's a big jump, 22.5 kilos.
Yeah, this is a big jump.
Yeah. Again, the bigger the weight class, usually the bigger the jumps you can make, as you don't want to be too taxed out. But let's see how this one moves.
That's true. It is all relative. But 22.5 is going to be big regardless. Very interested to see how he handles this.
Easy, easy.
Depth is good. Wow. And he handled that 22.5 kilo jump about as well as you can ask him to.
I'm guessing he does that in training. That's probably what he's used to, because
Right.
it moved great.
Yeah, you don't want to train one way, show up meet day and be like, I got an idea.
Yeah. Hey, guys, have you heard this?
Listen to this. 310, Matthew Cronin, 120. 12.5 kilo jump for Matthew.
Go back.
Absolutely buried that squat.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Left no doubt on the depth. 3 white lights by the refs.
When you squat super deep in training, and just replicate it on the platform, it pretty much looks exactly like that. No questions, nice spring out of the hole, so good second attempt there for Matthew.
Andres Soto, 320, 15 kilo jump.
Bar is loaded. Let's push it, folks. Let's go. Starting off with good morning.
Andres has previously hit 337.5. We're well within that.
Let's go, baby. You got this. Come on.
I don't know what he weighed in at, but I think he's dropped a bit of weight.
Nice solid second attempt. Let's see what the refs say. Lift is good, 2-1.
2-1, it's good.
And he's pumped up. I think he's going to go for something nice on his third here. And we are starting the flight back off. Third attempts loaded for Marshall Powell.
210, Marshall, 93 kilo open, and Marshall previously walking into this competition with a 192.5 best. We are well beyond that if he hits 210. And while we're looking at the squats, and obviously in the battle between him and Pete Spence, Pete off to an early lead, but when we get into the bench press, Marshall has a substantial advantage, 32.5 kilos judging by their previous performances. So by the time we get into deadlifts, it's going to be a tight neck and neck battle. Let's see where they end off. But here's 10 more kilos. It's gonna help his run.
Wow. Looked the exact same as his opener in his second attempt. The lift is good, 2-1. Awesome PR for Marshall.
3 for 3, and that definitely applies pressure on Pete. As the spotters and loaders load 232.5 for Travis Moody in the 105 Open.
Let's go, Travis. Let's go, Travis.
Travis taking a 7.5 kilo jump from his second attempt.
Strength is good. Let's see what the refs say. Was it to depth? It was. 3 white lights. Some lifters, it's just a lot easier to see than others, but looks good.
And here he is, 240, Pete Spence, 10 kilo jump. He's been taking 10 kilo jumps. Bill McCarthy, friend of Pete's, handling him on the day. And again, he's gonna lose some ground in the bench press, so he wants to gain this ground in the squat event in this battle with Marshall.
It's all about building the total and what your strengths are. If you use the better squatter, put the kilos on there.
Depth is there.
Monty.
Oh, wow, this is a fight! Oh, nice catch, he almost had it.
It's all right, he still hit a great PR on his second attempt, so this was just to add a little bit more to his total. But 2 for 3 on squats with a PR, not a bad day. Let's see what he does the rest of the meet day.
It is going to be interesting in the bench press event. You know Marshall was watching that. Marshall went 3 for 3. And 242.5 loaded in the 105 class for Pede.
Sticky point there, but the lift looks good. 2-1 it is.
Good lift. 2-1. Way to go, team.
We're moving at a relatively brisk pace, 285 for Sean Martinez, 120 class. And this is another thing, Natalie, where you have to adjust to the day. If you're moving fast, you're not used to moving that quickly, you can manage your jumps accordingly. Tell your handler, I'm a stitch fatigued.
Yeah, exactly. You may have to lower the weight just depending on how you train in the gym and how prepared you are for the meet day timing. It all plays a factor.
10 kilo jump for Sean. Now Sean missed 275, so he probably expected to hit a bigger third, I'm assuming. So this is probably a weight that he's comfortable with on his back. Oh, you know what? That was working probably the appropriate call for weight.
Yeah, looked like a good call. The lift is good. Still went 2 for 3 on squats after a little oops on the opener. So perhaps that maybe was his planned second, and it just got a little taxed after having to sink his second attempt. But either way, he's on the board.
It might have actually been a blessing in disguise,
Yeah.
because he didn't actually grind out and miss a third if they had a planned heavier third. And Beltran, 310, 12.5 kilo jump, 105 junior.
Yeah, this looks like a lifter who's used to larger attempts. His first and second flew, so I think this is a good weight call here, 12.5 kilo jump.
He took a monster 22.5 kilo jump from his first to his second. More conservative to his third, but it's a sizable jump nonetheless. Covering a lot of ground. Started off at 275, ending off at 310. a lot of ground. It's an all or nothing strategy, but I like it. Makes it fun to watch. It moved pretty quick considering.
Beautiful squat. I think he's 100% used to these jumps. Probably PR for him.
Yeah, and it's interesting. If you would have told me like how quick that squat moved, that he opened so many kilos back.
Right.
But he probably is like, look, it's got to move fast for me, my third.
Yeah.
I need that energy. I need the explosion. I cannot have too many attempts at the top end range, as 320 is loaded for Matt Cronin, 120 kilo class. Matt, 10 kilo jump. Whoa, that's a fight.
Ah, but he got it. A sticky, probably a great third attempt right there.
So Matt enters the 700-pound club with squats, massive. And I would say that is exactly what he had on the day.
That is the perfect third attempt.
If I know powerlifters, he'll walk off and be like, I think I had like 5 more
Yeah,
kilos.
5, 7 more. Just a miss.
5, 7.5 with him. All right. Soto, 322.5. Conservative 2.5 kilo jump.
He's closing out the day, or for the first session for squats here. Second probably was a little sticky, so taking a conservative third.
And that's Michael Davis I see in the wings there from the Flex team. Been several times to the World Championships, even dating back to 2018 as a junior.
Just missed it on depth, it looks like. 2-1. All right, that concludes the squat session of today's morning session.
So we're going to take a brief break, 10 minutes. Make sure you come back as we enter into the bench press. We'll see you then. We're back to the Texas Fall Championships. I'm Ryan Six-Pack Lapidat, accompanied in the booth by 57-kilo world champion Natalie Richards. As we enter into the bench press event, we have 2 flights in the morning session.
Yep, and we already have some good standings so far. A lot of made lifts, not really any misses. Only 1% I think missed their opener, then it came back strong. So everyone's in the meet so far. It's going well.
No bomb outs, and usually when it comes to openers, no news is good news, and you just cruise through, but every now and then, things get a little dicey. People either have some technical difficulties and have to take another run at it, or they fly a little too close to the sun, get a little too overly ambitious, and open too heavy.
Yep.
As we look at the scoreboard there, the heated battle between Marshall Powell and Pete Spence. Marshall opening with 150. And we had said he'll probably have a bench press advantage where Pete had the squat advantage.
Yep.
Pete going 2 for 3 in squats, Marshall 3 for 3. We'll see what happens in the bench press, and this looks like it's going to be a battle.
Yep, it's going to be a good one. Comes down to probably going to be the last couple pulls on who's gonna hit it.
And this broadcast brought to you by SBD.
All right, we are going to start the bench press.
All right, looks like they're getting started to load up the bar for the first bench.
52.5 for Talia Gonzalez, sub-junior 84.
Now you can either accept or waive a handoff if you need help unracking the bar on bench press, but Talia is just gonna go ahead and unrack it herself.
And how do you feel about the rack-unrack situation?
I'm a little biased. I like to control all variables. Sometimes you can't guarantee how the handoff is gonna go. So if you can unrack it yourself comfortably and you feel in a good position, I'd recommend doing that. Some lifters like getting a little bit of help so they don't have to move after adjusting themselves on the bench.
And you've flown all over the world competing, and it's that consistency
Right.
that you can rely on. As our second lifter prepares for 62.5, Pamela Riley in the Master 1 69-kilo class.
Up next, Pamela Riley. Bar is loaded.
Bar is loaded for Pamela. Nice solid bench press for Pamela. 3 white lights for her, good lift.
Up next, we will have Heather McConnell with 60.
62.5 will stay on the bar for Heather McConnell, 63-kilo Master 1 lifter.
Bar is loaded.
Now, like I said, you have 60 seconds after they call bar is loaded to go ahead and get the start command. So she's taking her time, putting her wrist wraps on, stepping out on the platform, getting set.
Let's go ahead.
In the bench press, it's one of those technical lifts.
Sometimes it can take a little bit longer getting set up, especially if you're waiting for a handoff and the judges need to be able to see that you're ready to go and wait for the lift-off person to move out of the way beforehand, so it can take a little bit longer.
Unlike the other lifts, you got 3 commands: start command, press command, rack command, elbow depth, butt stays down, feet stay down, head stay down. There's a lot of possible infractions, so you want to start very low with your opener, get on the board, just like that.
Yep. It's also a lift that 2.5 kilos can feel very, very hard, depending on how strong you are in the bench press, so smaller jumps are to be expected.
You know, sometimes in the lighter weight class women's division, for instance, a 47-kilo class, which is relative to the body weight, 2.5 kilos is quite a bit on the bench press. And some of these ladies get stuck at a certain weight, And in training, their bench is actually progressing
Right.
because they're moving with pound plates. But on the platform, it looks like, wow, you haven't PR'd in quite some time. Well, I have. I just need to jump up a full 2.5 kilos
Right.
before you can see it. 82.5 for Jay Banks.
Yep.
Sub-junior 74.
Unless you're going for a record of some sort, you don't have those chip plates, so you have to go 2.5 kilo increments.
And that's a good point there. You can move up 0.5 kilos, but it's going to have to be a record.
So far, all these openers are moving super nicely, nice and quick, just as they should.
102.5 for Daniel Restrepo. Dan, going over the liftoff. And that's important. You want to tell if you're going to take a liftoff, tell them and remind them when they see you again. They're doing so many liftoffs throughout the day. They won't remember your instructions, or they may not.
Good opener, 3 white lights.
.105 as we stay in the junior 105s. Matthew Boscombe.
At 231 pounds, 105 kilos. Bar is loaded. Let's go, Matthew.
Smooth up, a little bit slow, but it could just be how he bench presses, so it's nice and controlled.
Uh-oh.
2 reds from the judges, some sort of technical infraction there.
Yeah, we don't have a replay here, so it's difficult to see, but
Next up, Eli hits you. Opening with 250.
and it could be so with the yellows, what we don't see from this angle, if his butt rose,
Right.
and that happens,
The butt must stay in contact with the bench throughout the entire lift, and if it came up for any reason at any sort of time, that could be the yellow card infraction, which gives the red light.
115 for Eli. Fitzhugh.
You can see the side refs looking to make sure that his butt is down and feet are flat.
And if you remember in the squat event, Eli likes to take big jumps, nice, comfortable openers. We'll see what he does in the bench press event as 127.5 being loaded for Billy Ahern. 105 open. Those are long arms.
Great for deadlifting, hard to bench in.
Yeah.
Makes easy work of the opener nonetheless. 3 white lights.
And you notice the left arm, there's a slight crook in the elbow. And some lifters, not all the arms open entirely the same.
Bar is loaded for Tabori.
Tabori, 135 in the 83 kilo opened. Michael Davis there in the wings. I talked to Michael in between squat and bench, said he drove 3 hours to get here and handle in the morning, and then he'll drive 3 hours home. That's dedication to your athletes.
Yep.
He got up pretty early.
Yep. That's good though, it's all part of the game, being able to be there for the game day handling and making sure your lifter is all taken care of.
Yeah, I'm sure they appreciate.
All right, nice smooth opener. Let's see what his attempt selection will be on bench press. I know in the squat he made a larger jump to his third, so we'll see how he strategizes on bench press.
57.5 for Talia Gonzalez, sub-junior 84.
Probably a good weight call, going up 5 kilos. Not too heavy, but leaving some room to add to the total.
Nicely done. What do you think? 2.5 or another 5?
I'd play it safe, go 2.5. You'd always, like I said, rather get 2.5 kilos than lose 2.5 kilos. So I think that would be a good call for her.
I'm a gambler, and I would say 5. Let's see what she does. Easy to gamble when it's not me,
Yeah.
though, right? When it's someone else's money. 67.5 for Pamela Riley, 69 kilo Master 1.
Let's go, Pam. Make us proud, Pam.
Just a little bit too heavy. It could have been some sort of misgroove on the way down. She'll come out and smash it for her third, but I'm assuming she'll attempt it then. We'll see how it moves.
Yeah, bench is one of those where you see someone fail, and it appears like it might be strength, and then they come out, smoke it, and the
Right.
next attempt, you're like, what happened there? And like you had alluded to, just a small misgroove makes everything look different.
If your touch point is different, if you feel
Yeah.
like you don't have good leg drive, anything can make that look harder than it actually is.
The bench, not only is there more possible infractions, but because the bar path isn't linear like the deadlift and the squat, so many things can go off and awry real quick. 67.5 for Heather McConnell in a Master 1 63 kilo class.
Really nice and smooth. Second attempt there. Look clean. See what the judges say. Yep, 3 white lights. She's having a really good day so far, going 3 for 3 on squats and 2 for 3 on bench so far.
Spotters and loaders moving quick now. This is a sizable jump. 10 kilos to 92.5 for Jay Banks.
It is. Like I said, 2.5 kilos can feel like the world, so we'll see how 10 moves, but he did make larger jumps on his squats as well, so it might just be what he does in training.
2 for 3 in the squat event, but he didn't miss his third on strength. It was on depth.
You'll notice a little bit more of a longer press command just because the bar kind of wobbled on his chest there. The judges wait to see it hold still, so the quicker you can make the bar be still on your chest, the faster the press command you'll get.
Yeah, and that's a good note. Now, some people want to get the job done quickly, but controlled and a little slower, you will get the press command quicker. But as a sub-junior, you're still developing your style and kind of getting into the groove on what you like. And Matthew Boscombe, 105, missed this on his opener, was not on strength. We didn't see it. It was a yellow card, if I remember, so I
Yeah.
think maybe his butt rose. We're not going to see that from this angle. Well,
It looked clean from my angle.
I took a look, and I was about to say it looked clean for mine as well. I stopped looking at the live stream and looked off on the platform. I have a good view if the butt rises. Planted the entire time, 3 white lights, and now he's on the board and can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief when you miss your opener.
Right.
I mean, it's just your opener, but
It happens, though.
it happens to the. Have you ever missed your opener?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh wait, sorry. Never mind. You look at me like Ryan.
Brian.
Yeah. Okay, not going there. 107.5. Dan Restrepo, 93 kilo open.
5.5 kilo jump for Daniel.
No doubt on the elbow depth.
Once again, the refs are just waiting for that bar to be still on the chest so that you can press it up.
3 white lights.
The more control you have, the quicker the press command, but easy enough lift for him.
Yeah, you really do get rewarded if you can get a good handle on that descent and control it down to the chest. Now, it's easier said than done, and some people like to move quickly in order to generate that power and force. 122.5, it is a sizable 7.5 kilo jump for Eli, sub-junior 83.
I moved pretty good for a second attempt. I wouldn't jump 7.5 kilos for the third, but
Right. Yeah.
adding to your total, building that subtotal up.
An appropriate second attempt selection. I think they're right on the money, pacing well in the bench press. And I'd agree, smaller jump to the third, probably around 5 kilo-ish, 2.5 maybe, if they want to go conservative. And 132.5 for Billy Ahern.
292 pounds.
105 open.
Let's go, Billy.
Moving around, once again, we're moving around in the weight classes, the age groups, from sub-junior all the way to masters in flight 1. Another reminder, too, we have flight 2 that's going to come immediately with no break after the third round of benching here. Billy, 3 white lights.
Yeah, 3 white lights for Billy. Everyone's here building their total, trying to get the highest GL points possible, and maybe you walk away with some money at the end of the day.
That's going to be tough because later on today, we've got some big names, heavy hitters. Have you heard of Bob Matthews?
Huh, sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar. He's quite good.
Yeah, oh.
The scouting reports, he's good. Ashton, Roska.
Some top ladies who just came off of Worlds this last June will also be competing, so we have some world-class athletes in this afternoon session.
Yeah, medalists like Jessica Espinal, Megan Scanlon, former world champion, 140. For
Little
Tabore.
bit sticky at that lockout, but I think it was fine. I didn't see any up and down.
Yeah, it was work, but he's on. Now it begs the question, like you had said, there's a bit of a sticking point. How much they jump up is the question he's going to have with his handlers. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people will surprise you once the sticking points appear. Sometimes the end is near, sometimes, nope, we got room to grow, don't worry. I always stick around, and it's a battle. 6'2.5 for Talia Gonzalez. Also, later, guest lifter here, Jessica Bittner. Holy
Fellow Canadian.
A fellow Canadian.
Just too much on the day. Maybe 2.5 jumps would have been a little bit better, but it happens. I think it was just that press command threw her for a little bit of a loop, waiting for that bar to settle on the chest.
67.5. Pamela Riley missed it on her second. Gonna retake it on her third. We're in the Master 169 kilo class.
Just too heavy on the day. It happens.
Yeah, and this one actually looked like it got a little more momentum off the chest.
Yeah, I have a feeling that the second was a misgroup, and then she just ran out of gas for the third after trying to grind out the second.
And that can happen as well.
But has her opener. She's on the board. She's ready to go into deadlifts after this.
Yeah, all is not lost. You got to regroup. The day continues, and another event awaits. 70 kilo for Heather McConnell, Master 163.
slow and steady.
And that was a good third attempt. Good attempt selection. 3 for 3 in the bench press. They got everything they could out of her. As 95 getting loaded for Jay Banks. 10 kilo jump from his opener, 2.5 kilo jump here, and I think that's a good attempt selection there. 92.5 moved well, but it was some work.
It was a bit of a large jump from opener to second. So if he can add these 2.5 kilos, great. If not, it's only a 2.5 kilo loss.
Right. Nicely done. 3 for 3 in the bench press event. Daniel Repo, 93 kilo open, 110, 2.5 kilo jump. Some smaller jumps here, Natalie. Looks like some of these people are sensing the end is near.
That's how it is on bench press. You have to play conservative. If it feels heavy, it's probably going to move a little bit slower. 2.5 kilos makes a huge difference.
Oh, that is a scrap. It looked like he had gotten past the sticking point for a second.
Yeah, and then the bar just dipped down, and the second it goes down, the spotters and loaders need to grab that. So great job by the spotting team. Almost there. Just a touch too heavy.
Yeah, to your point, when that starts going down, even if he regained and locked it out, would have passed in the gym fine, but no up down, the bar can stop, but can only ever actually go in one direction after you get that press command. No sense wasting energy on a lift that's not going to get any more kilos towards your total. And 112.5 for Matt Boscom in the 105 junior class. Matt missed his opener, retook the weight, got it in the second attempt, jumping 7.5 kilos here. Oh, nope.
Just a touch too heavy. I think if it was 110, yes, but 112 was just a little too heavy on the day. Still in the meet, still got a second, still smiling.
Yeah, I was going to say, he laughs it off.
That's a great attitude to have.
I always try to check a lifter's face. If you're overly dejected, look, we got more lifting left to go.
Right.
You got to leave it behind you. 127.5 for Eli in the 83 kilo sub-juniors. 5 kilo jump. And it's a relatively narrow grip, and I got a feeling as Eli, who's in the sub-juniors, progresses, that grip's going to get wider and wider and wider.
Most likely, you start off usually with a close grip as it's most comfortable, it's easiest to pick up the bar, and then as you get more technique proficient, you'll slightly widen that grip, get a little bit more out of your leverages.
Yeah, it's always interesting to watch these sub-juniors develop in the sport, and Billy Ahern, 135, 2.5 kilo jump for him. In the 105 open class.
Yep, that's right on the money. I think that was a good attempt call. 3 white lights.
Claps for himself. Sometimes you got to do that in life. Embrace the victories. 145.
I think based on the second, I might have gambled a little bit less and done 142.5, but let's see how this moves.
Tabore, 83 kilo. Now, was this when I said 5, you said 2.5?
I don't know. I think so.
Let's say.
Let's say.
Let's say.
All right, he's psyching me out because that moved better than, better than his second.
3 whites. I'm going to be honest. If you missed, I would have been like, no, I think I said 2.5, actually. I think it was someone else.
Yeah.
I hedged my bets by
Yeah.
beforehand. Be like, oh, maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Let's see what happens. Aaron coming out to 105 and 83 kilo, bench only equipped.
Equipped means that he has a bench shirt on, or usually you can have a bench shirt on.
Oh,
It
my
does not
man.
look like he has one on.
My man pulling the old switcheroo on us. He might have brought it, though, and if it doesn't feel right,
That's true.
or he might put it on for a second or third. So let's see what happens. You might just want to get on the board with
Right.
one, then pop that shirt on. Nicely done.
Has to be some sort of token lift to just be on the board.
So I'll tell you what. So Aaron, I got a little inside baseball, if you will. I heard them talking. Obviously, you need certain depth for the bench press rule for the elbow.
Right.
And with equipment, depending on how much you've done in the shirt benching. So I think he's getting on the board. And if he wants to go to nationals or whatever, so he's on the board without the shirt, that's done. Good game planning. Throw the shirt on. Now you can gamble a little bit. Pete Spence, 125 in the 120 kilo class. 132.5 is Pete's previous PR. He PR'd in squat. Training's gone well.
You can see the longer range of motion that Pete has on bench press. Elbow depth for sure.
Super speed off the chest.
Super easy. I have no doubts that he will jump at least 5 or 7.5 kilos.
Yeah, I would say he could make a pit stop at 5 and kind of take a look from there, but that moved pretty well. And 127.5 for Sean Martinez, staying in the 120 class.
Now, talking about elbow depth, the judges, really the front judge is looking to make sure that the elbow crease is below the top of the shoulder there so that the full range of motion is completed on the bench press.
Nicely done.
Easy opener. Nice for Sean Martinez. Up next, measure by
140 being loaded for Pede in the 105 open class.
Let's go, team.
Really nice opener. 3 white lights from the judges.
Bars loaded for Malachi. Opening with 3
140.
pounds.
Beltran in the 105 junior class.
Let's go, MJ.
Another smooth opener, 3 white lights.
He's feeling good today.
Up next,
All right, now we are back to the equipped open bench only 105 class, Greg Powell. And he is, in fact, I believe, wearing a bench shirt here.
142.5 for Greg.
he is also benching equipped.
Like we mentioned, sometimes the opener can be the hardest lift, just being able to get the bar all the way down to their chest, just how tight their equipment is.
Yeah, the elbow depth not in question there. Wow. Easy.
I'm guessing it has to be another just get on the board type of lift, and then he'll either stay conservative to qualify for nationals, or he'll go ahead and have fun the rest of the day.
And he, if you notice when he walked off, arms right down. When those shirts get really tight, you can't even put your arms down.
Yeah.
Very loose, so he could wear his shirt for his opener. Not be overly concerned as Marshall Powell, 150. Now, we had said Marshall will lose a little ground on the squat, gain a little ground on the bench press, and it's going to be a neck-and-neck battle with Pete Spence. Let's see how he moves 150.
Opting with doing a self-lift off.
That was good.
That was very good.
That was smooth. And he looks confident as he leaves. If you're wondering, in regards to Marshall's previous personal best bench, 165 or 15 kilos below that. If his squats is any indication, because he PR'd in squat, kind of gives you some foreshadowing where he might end up in the bench press if he also will PR there. 150 for Travis Moody in the 105 class.
Easy press. Let's see what the judges say.
Bill McCarthy in the wings. Got several lifters he's handling. Among them, the aforementioned Pete Spence in the middle of that battle with Marshall. Andres Soto, 162.5.
Bars loaded for Andres Soto, 162 kilos, 358 pounds.
Pretty smooth opening press.
Good opener for Andres. 3 white lights. The bar can be as crooked as you'd like on your chest. As long as you get elbow depth and press it up with elbows locked, you're good to go.
Now we're getting into some big openers here. 217.5 for Matt Cronin in the 120 class.
Bars loaded.
Saying no lift off. I was talking to Bill McCarthy, who's handling him and his coach. He was saying, Matt, fresh off of getting married, honeymoon, showing up for this for a little bit of fun, had that huge
So nice.
had that huge scrap with 320 for his final squat.
Yeah, for showing up for fun, he's absolutely crushing today.
It's the power of love, Natalie.
Oh, God.
Sorry. Excuse me, I'll see myself out. 120 for Aaron in the equipped bench only and opting to not have the shirt on still.
I'm guessing this is just to qualify simply for the bench nationals.
Right. And he can qualify for the equipped bench.
Bars loaded.
$15-kilo jump. I don't think it's going to be any major issue for him. 105 was super easy.
Yeah. An easy day. Easy qualifying day.
Light work. Well, let's see. Maybe with as easy as everything's moving, does he put the shirt on for the last bench?
I feel like no. I feel like he's going to play it conservative today. It would be fun to see him in a bench shirt, though. All right, now Pete jumped up 7.5 kilos, I believe, to tie his best here. His opener moved great, so let's see how the second goes.
Yeah, 125 moved appropriately. 7.5 kilos should be in range.
292 pounds.
Oh, it moved smooth
Moved
enough.
great after just clipping the rack on the way down.
Yeah. And, you know, we don't have a replay here, but he did lift his head, I believe.
Okay.
But there was a different infraction. I think I see the side ref that gave him a yellow had mentioned something. Trying to do a little lip reading,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
can't quite tell. I think if he just sets up a little bit further away from the rack, he'll be totally fine. He can smoke it again or jump up even 2.5 kilos. I think that moved really, really well, honestly.
140 for Sean Martinez in the 120 class.
The big jump, or 12.5 kilos.
Yeah, that was a big jump, but he handles it well.
Up next up, Pedro Conley at 147.5, 325 pounds.
And 347.5 for Pede in the 105 Open.
Bar is loaded.
Yep, that looked just about as good as his opener. 147, 3 white lights.
So if you're wondering, Pete Spence subtotal 355, Marshall Powell subtotal 360. We are neck and neck like we promised. The battle, so much back and forth on social media leading into this. And we wanted it close. You always want it close if it's any kind of sporting event between two rivals. Hate to see a blowout. It's a little anticlimactic. Well,
Yeah.
it's living up. It's living up. And we got plenty of lifting left to go around the halfway mark. And Beltran, 147.5.
Pretty good second. 3 white lights. He's calm.
You think he's happy with that one?
I think he's happy with
Hard to
that one.
tell. Got a poker face on him. On pace, Travis Moody, 157.5, 105 open. 7.5 kilo jump.
Let's go, Travis.
Oh, it's definitely work. I think a more conservative third attempt, but he gets it, I believe.
I believe, maybe.
Yep, 2-1, it's good.
I'm wondering what that central infraction was, whether he heaved it perhaps a bit.
I was trying to see, Bill McCarthy was also asking. And it's always good when the handler asks so he could,
Correct.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
Marshall Powell, 160, 10 kilo jump. That's a pretty big jump. Perhaps Marshall sensing blood in the water, but here's the thing. You get too ambitious.
Right.
You start missing as well. The door swings back open for Pete to regain that ground. Marshall has a slight lead. It's a tentative lead. He's trying to increase here. Wow, handles that
Nailed
10
it,
kilo.
yeah.
Yeah, very well done by Marshall.
Yeah, I think he's good to go ahead and try to take a PR or play conservative, do 165.
Yeah, and so 165 would tie his previous PR as I look at the notes you gave me. Thank you, Natalie, ever the professional.
Yeah. If they're wrong, don't come for me, but
That's right, that's right. Disclaimer, 167.5 for Andres Soto. $5 kilo jump here. sticking point came on.
Looking at the touch point, I almost think he jumped the press command.
Is that
just
right?
a little bit.
Well, they held him there for a second, and some lifters know, like, look, I'm going to go, because if I don't go now, I'm not going to hit it, and maybe it still passes.
Right. Yeah.
I've seen. And the two side refs, if you're close enough, almost on the for the press, the two side refs might be like, I think it might have been on time.
Yeah. All right,
It's a
now,
gamble.
look at this jump.
Wow, Natalie, 185. Greg Powell opened with 142.5. That is a monster jump. I wondered, I can't tell if it's the same bench shirt or not. Sometimes you have.
Like a warm-up bench shirt.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bench shirt, yeah.
And I'm unfamiliar if you're allowed, how many shirts you're allowed to check in. Okay, well, holy smokes.
This has to be a qualifier for nationals as well.
Because what are we talking about here? Another 40-kilo jump?
Honestly, I believe it, yeah.
I would not be shocked. 225 for Matthew Cronin. We're getting close to a 500-pound bench press.
Yep, and you can see the first flight here warming up for deadlifts in the back. We're starting to get towards the end of bench.
Matt, squatting over 7, benching conceivably over 5 if he hits this. This is a strong gentleman.
Good, smooth bench press, a little sticky as it got to lockout, but yeah, I said 2, so probably
Is that what he gave the 2?
Yeah.
I think so. And you know what? If he hasn't already entered into the 500-pound club, I think
Now
that would be
he can.
yeah. And I think it would be great. And judging by his squat, now he could fight in the squats. He had a great fight in his squats. That was work, but if he can grind in the bench like he can squats, he'll enter in the 500-pound club. Pete Spence missed 132.5, opting to go up to 135.
I believe this would be a PR for Peter.
You're right. So I think he said we're going PR territory, regardless of the second. Nicely done.
Better, yeah. He did not clip the rack at all. That looks like a nice clean lift. And it's good.
Little sigh of relief almost, but that happens.
It happens.
You know, you clip the rack and it really does throw you off. This is not just training weight. This is platform weight. When you clip the rack, everything gets rattled and shaken up, but hits a PR on the bench press. And 137.5 for Aaron. Aaron keeping the bench shirt off. Made easy work at 120. I think he's going to make easy work at 137.5. Yeah.
Yep. Nice, easy day. He qualified for the equipped bench nationals. I'm assuming the red card might be with elbows. Not quite sure from the front ref there. But a good lift regardless.
$145 for Sean Martinez in the 120s.
Just a touch too heavy for the day. He didn't lose much. He jumped 12.5 kilos from his opener to second, so just missed out on those last 5 kilos. 2 for 3 regardless.
So Pete Spence subtotal as it stands now, 365. Keep that in mind as we're moving towards the third and final attempt for Marshall Powell. And then the deadlifts, Pete opening heavier than Marshall. But the proof is in the pudding, and we'll see. You got to collect those attempts. 152.5 for Beltran in the 105 juniors.
Yep, never judge a book or judge the meet by openers. It all comes down to those attempt selections.
Right. A lot can happen. The forecast can deceive you. Nicely done there.
I assume you'll be happy about this.
Yeah. And some people change their openers. Some people take big jumps from their openers. Some people take small ones. So the forecast, I've learned, it's led me astray at times.
155 kilos. Bar is loaded.
And Pede, 155, 7.5 kilo jump for him in the 105 class open.
Let's go, T.
Oh, man.
I felt the same. That was super smooth.
I need an explanation from that third attempt.
He might have 2 more. Sir, this is a 3 attempt meet.
He was just warming up for his first attempt.
That's right. 160 Travis Moody, 105 open. Conservative 2.5 kilo jump. Nice fight there. Now that is what you'd anticipate a third attempt to look
Yeah,
like.
that's a good, solid jump there. And all 3 right, so whatever the issue was in the second, it's obviously been resolved by third attempts.
Quick shot of the warm-up room. There's Marshall Powell to the left and Soto to the right as he enters for 167.5. Missed it on his second, looking to regain that ground on his third.
Super heavy. Go, Gabe.
Ooh, nope.
It came up more than the second, but it was just a tad too heavy on the day. It happens.
Bought himself a little bit of life insurance with that opener, and you can move forward into the deadlifts. 170 now for Marshall Powell. Marshall previously hitting 165. This is a 5 kilo PR.
And if he hits this, it'll close the gap leading into deadlifts between him and Pete.
Yeah, 210 on his bench. That'd be 380. By my math, that's a decent headway. However, Pete opening substantially more. So he wants these kilos. Another 10 kilos will really help him out towards that total.
Oh, man.
Wow. Clean, smooth third attempt on Marshall. Picks up
Awesome.
10 kilos more, and the battle rages on, Natalie.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. It's going to be an interesting dinner tonight. Matt Cronin, 227.5, like we thought,
Yep.
joining that 500-pound club. That's 501 pounds.
This will be a grinder, but I think he's got it. Just got to stick with it.
Yeah, 225 was work. This is only 2.5 more kilos. Percentage-wise, small jump for that much weight, but gravity turns on. Ooh, there it is. Oh!
So close. He took the smallest attempt he could. He got
Yeah.
his second. That was still really great benching from him.
You know that goal was probably always the goal coming in. If 500 pounds is available, let's load it.
All right.
225. Sorry, yeah, let's do it. 227.5 again. Wow. Okay, Greg Powell Massive jump from 142.5 to 185. Another massive jump here to 501 pounds. What do you think this time, though?
Oh, I think it'll fly. I think it'll be fine. I'm assuming this is just practice to get in before nationals. He's already qualified. He's hit his opener in a second. And that looks about right for an equipped bencher. A little bit harder to hit the touch point, but still fast off the chest.
Came up almost in pieces.
Yeah.
Left and right. Little sticking point here and there.
You can see when the bench shirt isn't giving as much as he gets closer to lockout, so it gets a little bit stickier.
And we start with flight 2. Heather McConnell, no break here. Right away into the openers. 140 being loaded. Wait a second, sorry, excuse me, that'd be the deadlifts. We are done in terms of the bench press, and we will take a 10-minute break and then return for the deadlifts. Don't go anywhere, we will be right back. And we are back at the Texas Fall Championships, brought to you by SBD. I'm Ryan Six-Pack Lapidat, accompanied in the booth by the 57-kilo queen, Natalie Richards. Natalie, we got flight 1 and 2 back-to-back for the deadlifts. I was back there getting a vibe of the room. Some people qualifying for nationals, others battling it out, like Pete Spence, Marshall Powell.
It's been a great session so far. We've had tons of great made lifts, no bomb outs, but the meet doesn't start till the first deadlift hits the floor.
You know what? Some people dropped that quote. 140 Heather McConnell, and like you had said, no bomb outs yet. As soon as these lifters hit their opening deadlift, their totals are secure, and then they can start making those big jumps. If they're within a battle, you can start getting a little more risky, or if you're chasing certain numbers, this is the time to do it. And there's other storylines at play. Some of these lifters hitting PRs, other lifters going for state records, etc. In 140, no major ask for Heather.
Yep, the lightest opener of the day is over 300 pounds, so that's pretty promising heading into the rest of this first flight.
Next, we have Talia Gonzalez.
Talia Gonzalez in the sub-junior 84s, 145 on the bar for her.
Let's go, Talia.
Makes easy work of that. 3 white lights.
Arms loaded for Pamela Riley at 100.
Pamela Riley up next, Master 1, 69-kilo class, 145.
Finish it. Let's say 3 white lights.
Good lift for her. I think all lifts have been a little bit slow and controlled, so moved well.
160 kilos.
160 now being loaded for Eli Fitzhugh, 83-kilo sub-junior.
Let's go, Eli.
Eli, if you remember, likes taking big jumps from his second, or from his opener to his second, and that moved very quick, smooth, easy. I'm anticipating a big jump there for him, as 170 being loaded for Matt Boscombe in the 105 juniors.
374 pounds. And bar is loaded. Let's go, Matthew. Keep going, knock it out.
What do you think? A little bit of work?
Little bit of work, but I think he really controlled it. So I think he's good to go for his planned second here.
182.5 for Jay Banks, sub-junior 74.
Bar is loaded.
Got our first sumo puller of the day.
Opening in the 400 pounds for sub-junior 74. Jay Banks is on the board. 210 for Tabori. We're jumping up quick.
Bar is loaded. Come on, Tabori.
Easy work.
Nice smooth opener.
Good job, Tabori. 3 white lights.
225.5 for Dan Restrepo. 93 kilo open.
Up next will be Daniel Restrepo.
So far, no surprises here.
490 pounds. Bar is loaded. Come on, Daniel. Start it off easy. Let's go.
Nice opener there. Took his time with the setup. 3 white lights. He's secured his position in the meet.
Up next, Billy Ahern.
Billy Ahern, 105 open, 240 being loaded for his opener.
The men's raw open in the 105 kilo class. Bar is loaded.
Super nice opener for Billy. I know he's been battling a back injury these past couple months, so
Is that right?
it's good to see that he's feeling pretty much back to normal now, or taking it relatively conservative to have a nice meet day.
Talia Gonzalez, 155 kilo jump in the sub-junior 84 class. And yeah, that's the name of the game, where if you're trying to qualify and dealing with an injury, when you get here, you're going to feel like you want to put on some weight, put on some numbers, put on a show. However, the Nationals comes quick.
It does.
It's far more a bigger meet, and that's really where you want your numbers to fall. You don't want to re-aggravate those injuries. Easier said than done, holding yourself back when you get that adrenaline running through your body.
We are already back first. We have second attempts for her. 150 moved great.
Yes, second round of deadlifts already underway. And a reminder, with no break, we will move directly into flight 2 as soon as this round of deads is done. And Heather McConnell, Master 163.
Doing a 10 kilo jump up to 150, 331 pounds.
Come on, Heather.
Decent jump, but we are in the deadlifts.
Good lift for her.
Pamela Riley, second attempt, 152.5. Master 169.
Come on, Pam.
Yeah, quick off the floor, a little bit slower towards the lockout, but an appropriate second attempt.
Yep, I think that was a good call. Maybe another 7.5 kilos, 5, see how she feels.
Right. I would agree with that assessment. And 170, 10 kilos for Eli.
Bar is loaded. Come on, Eli.
Really good.
With ease.
Yeah.
With relative ease there, 10 kilo jump. Expecting another 10 kilos, do you think?
Probably. I think he has another 10 kilos. The hardest part just looks like off the floor. And then as soon as he gets it up, it's easy.
Possibly at 12 and a half. That'll put him in the 400-pound club if that's something he wants to join. And Matt Boscombe, 180, another 10 kilo jump for him in the 105 class.
Finish, it was a little sticky on the way up, but 3 white lights for Matthew.
200 kilos even for Jay Banks. Sub-junior 74. So we entered the 400 pounds in his opener and entering the 200 kilos on his second.
Really snappy sumo deadlift there.
Pretty tidy. $222.5 for Tabori, 83 kilo open.
So far, he's having a really great day, and he is currently sitting in first for the 83 open.
Come on, Tabori.
Easy work. Wow, he could take a pretty big jump from there if he wants.
What do you think, another 12 and a half?
I'd be comfortable 12 and a half, maybe even 15 if I'm honest. That moved very well. As 132.5 gets loaded for Daniel Restrepo, 93 kilo class. 10 kilo jump for him.
Let's go, Daniel.
Good, strong deadlift. I almost think that moved better than his opener. Maybe just some confidence now. He's on the board. He's 2 for 3 so far.
And sometimes with a little bit more weight, you get a little tighter, a little more adrenaline. You take it a little more serious. It all adds up as 260. Now, if you like big jumps, Matt, 20 kilo jump here for Billy in the 105 open.
Opener moved very well. If he's accustomed to 20 kilo jumps in training, I anticipate this to move just as well.
And we had said some lifters for their opener just want to lock in that total, especially the deadlift, which is heavy and taxing. You don't want to have too many lifts at the top end. That's an appropriate second attempt.
Yep, speed, moving great. 3 white lights. And we are already at the top of this first flight here with Heather McConnell, 157.5 being loaded.
Yeah, Master 63. Heather starting off the third and final round of deads for flight 1. A reminder, we will move directly into flight 2 upon the conclusion of flight 1's deadlifts. And a quick shout out to the sponsor, SBD, putting this meet together. Several lifters using this as a qualifier for Powerlifting America Nationals, including the session that starts this evening at 5 p.m. Lifters like Ashton Rauska, Bob Matthews, Jessica Espinal, guest lifters like Jessica Bittner, Gabby Martinez. I mean, the list goes on and on. Joe Jordan. I'm going to stop there because there's going to be people I'm going to miss. And I'll get pulled aside later, but make sure you come back. It's going to be a show. Wow, that was
fight.
Right on the money for the attempt selection.
Perfect call. She did not have 0.5 kilos more. That was excellent.
If there was a record, she would say, thank you, no thank you.
Yeah.
We're good with what this is.
Finishing up a great day for her, though. All white lights across the board.
Pamela Riley, and talk about getting fired up for her final lift of the day, 160. Coming out like a hurricane.
We can hear her family cheering her on in the crowd today.
Master 169 kilo class, a little too much today.
It happens. Still 2 for 3 on deadlifts with a really strong second. If there's a time where you want to jump a little bit bigger, it's probably going to be on your third deadlift.
Talia Gonzalez, 170, 20-kilo jump.
There it is.
There it is.
She wants the 170, 374 pounds. It's a big milestone to hit.
Oh my gosh.
That moved easy.
Well, she was conserving her energy then.
Whether she was qualifying or things just moved better than expected.
And 185 for Eli in the spotters and loaders. Moving pretty quickly this morning.
Yeah, spotters and loaders are absolutely flying. There's not a ton of rest time between lifters, so it's a quick-paced meet.
15-kilo jump for Eli. He likes big jumps. Has handled it well.
He's got it off the floor. It's a touch too heavy. Still 2 for 3.
Collecting some experience, these sub-juniors. It's a big platform to think about. Live stream, a lot of big names involved today.
It's a great experience if you're a newer lifter.
And 185 for Matt Boscom in the 105 juniors.
All right, he's getting the crowd pumped up.
Entering the 400-pound club. Should he hit this? Yep, don't forget to clasp
don't
that
forget.
belt. Nope.
It's all right. He gives a smile. 2 for 3 on the day and a really solid meet all around. I think this is the most red lights we've seen so far in any lift. People missing their third deadlifts.
Yeah, they're pushing themselves, and why not? We're here. It's a big meet, and Jay Banks looking to push himself. 207.5, 200 moved well. I think he's going to get this. Oh my gosh, it's a fight though, isn't it?
Lock those knees. He's done it.
Wow,
Good.
that was a scrap. And I tell you what, sometimes it's difficult to fight when you pull sumo.
It is.
At the top, you can teeter. There's balance issues. Obviously, your legs are spread. But he can fight with the sumo pull.
That was a great fight there.
People, sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Had a really great day.
People are loading right up and either just failing or just hitting, and we are right on that margin as 237.5 for Tabore in the 83-kilo open.
Decent sized jump here. He's been doing this all day to me. He jumps larger from his seconds to his thirds, trying to add more kilos to his total.
Yeah, he likes those big jumps. Tabore.
Smooth.
Yeah, locked it out relatively smooth for a third attempt, 3 white lights. And he's fired up, gets greeted by Michael Davis on the sidelines. 242.5 for Dan Restrepo in the 93-kilo open. And we're getting close to the end of this flight. Digging in.
Yep, if you want to send it, now's the time to push yourself.
Whoa.
Almost had it, just started to go down and couldn't keep it back up with him, but goes around, shakes the ref's hands. Solid end to his meet day.
275. Billy Ahern, 105 open, and Billy looking to finish off in the 600 pounds.
It's going up. And the lift is good. 3 white lights.
And that was right on the money as well. You can see him fighting to lock out those knees and get the lockout, hold it for the down command. And with the crowd yelling, it's difficult for me to hear the down command. I can't see. We got Arian as the head ref there. Or he was anyways. They're switching off now as we switch off to the deadlift event openers in flight 2. And Marshall Powell opening with 222.5.
It's going to be a battle. It comes down between him and Pete Spence for the total today. Pete had the squat advantage. Marshall had the bench advantage. So let's see where they land on deadlifts.
On openers, Pete's ahead with the deadlifts, but he's trailing a little on the subtotal. Let's see how this story ends. Whoa.
I thought he was still getting set. He just pulled it.
So talking to Pete, he thought that might be a placeholder opening dead for Marshall. He thought he'd be opening heavier, but perhaps Marshall's conserving energy and he's going to take a pretty big second to third and go all in.
I would not be surprised if there's a 20-kilo jump in the future or something like that, because that just flew. He's had those big jumps pretty much all day as well, even on bench press.
Maybe that's the game plan. 225 for Travis Moody in the 105s.
Very nice. Judges say 3 white lights.
Marshall previously has deadlifted 265, so that might be why Pete thought he'd be opening around 240 range.
Perhaps.
Because if he's going to PR, that is quite the spread if you're opening with 222.5.
Maybe we'll see a 50-kilo jump.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting strategy work.
Yeah.
If you're going to be taking big jumps like that. Pete 232.5 for his opening pull. As we take a peek into the warm-up room, see the athletes, handlers having their discussions.
The bar is currently loaded for Pete.
Is the clock winding down? It is. Wow. 20 seconds left. Kind of surprising if you miss your opening pull unless there's something happened to Pete.
Hoping that nothing's going on injury-wise where he's withdrawing from the meet, but he may just be unaware that his bar is loaded. And he has timed out, so he has officially missed his opener. If he wants to stay in the meet, he will need to hit either his second or his third, or else his squat and bench do not count.
So if you're wondering, Marshall taking a 20-kilo jump.
All right.
But
to what?
to what after that? Because his PR 265, we're still quite a bit beneath that. It'd be a monster jump for a PR after that. And I'd assume he's PRing because he's been PRing all day. Sean Martinez, 237.5 in the 120 open.
Three white lights for Sean. All right, the gentle giant Peter Spence is up now, 255 kilos in the raw open 120 class.
Pete looking to make a statement. It's a long way up to the top floor, but that was smooth. That was very smooth for his opener.
It's all those gummy bears he's eating in the back. He's fueling up for the next lift.
Pete now at 260. Marshall, 620. Well, dyslexia kicking in there. And Marshall 602.5. Andres Soto 260.
Good opener, it looks like. 3 white lights.
3 white lights. So Pete regains the lead on Marshall by less than 20 kilos. However, Marshall jumping 20 kilos on his deadlift. It is going to be who hits and who misses. Matt Cronin, 272.5, opening with 601 pounds.
I'm assuming he's also going to make bigger jumps around the 20-kilo range.
Yeah, talking to his coach, Bill, saying that Matt, obviously coming back from the wedding and also new weight class, dropping lower on the weight class and looking to go all out in that nationals.
Okay.
Beltran, 275 for his opener. 606. This is a 105 junior.
He's been having a really good day so far. Super efficient sumo deadlifter. Easy 3 white lights for 275.
232.5. Pete missed it on his opener, retaking it on his second. And when I say missed, he literally missed coming here.
He was unavailable.
Unavailable. There we are. He was unavailable. Double booked himself.
Whether he had to run to the bathroom, who knows? He's here now. He didn't jump up and wait, which was a good call, so he can hit his opener as planned.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of a jump do you think he takes for his third?
I'm anticipating, since he missed his opener, based on time, he'll probably jump a little bit more than planned, so 20, 25 kilos, wouldn't be surprised by that.
I'm saying 25 kilos.
Yeah, 25.
I think it would be there for him. Turns into a bit of an all or nothing situation, but that's the way the story unfolds. Travis Moody, 237.5, 12.5 kilo jump. Whoa, slow and steady. Nat, you could boil an egg in the time that this young man took the block that out. And if you thought it was, I mean,
Now,
if
now what RPE do you think that's for him?
well, I'm thinking we're at the edge,
Okay.
but
But you never know.
he's got no more. There's no more events after this. He might as well come out for a third. You don't have to conserve your energy.
Right.
Marshall Powell, 242.5. Again, trying to close that gap on Pete Spence. If he could hit this, he'll do so temporarily. Obviously, Pete still got 2 other lifts himself, but the battle's not over. Oh my gosh. So this is what we were saying. Honestly, I thought a 20-kilo jump was conservative. Based off his previous 265, conservative. What kind of a jump are we doing here?
It's got to be at least 30 kilos.
Literally, that's crazy.
Let's see
But
what he puts in.
this is a very interesting strategy.
It is.
But I think you're right. It's probably around 30. The thing is, usually you use your second attempt to judge your third. Well, what are you judging off of that? How do you read that? If when you're saying 30 kilos, the barometer is so huge.
Right.
Two-
I think it could be a mental aspect too, to see if he can disrupt Pete Spence.
Well, it's disrupting my prognosis. I don't know about Pete and them in the back. 247.5 for Sean Martinez. Yeah, if he's trying to hide his cards, so to speak, job accomplished, my friend.
You're confusing the
Yeah,
commentators.
we have no idea what you're loading as well. I don't think anyone in the house knows what you're going to load. 270 for Pete Spence. Getting close to that 600 pounds.
All right, let's see. 15-kilo jump.
Pete has hit 272.5. Nicely done.
Bar flew off the floor. He is funny left in the tank as well. I don't think it'll be a 30-kilo jump like Marshall most likely will do, but I think he'll have a decent bit to jump to.
I would caution away from 30 kilos.
Well,
but it moved like a second attempt should. That moved like you would expect a second attempt to move. Marshall, on the other hand, looked like he's still in the warm-up room. This is very interesting how this battle's unfolding. I hope it doesn't end with Marshall having 20 kilos left in the tank.
Oh, I know.
On the car ride home.
Did Marshall put in his third?
Yeah, good question. As 272.5 for Andres Soto. And I'll take a look for Marshall's. Ooh, it's a scrappy second attempt as well.
Little sticky on the lockout out there, but he nailed it. Let's see, it is 3 white lights. Maybe a little bit more conservative attempt for the third.
So Marshall put in 255. He could change that. You could change your final attempt twice, but 255, the way 242.5 moved is, well, we're thinking 30 kilos. When he jumps up 12 and a half,
I think that's most likely a placeholder to make Pete have to go first, and then Marshall has the advantage to where he can go after Pete and load what he needs to top the numbers.
I don't think he's going to be able to outpull Pete, though. 285 by Matt Cronin, 12 and a half kilos.
Super easy pull for Matthew.
Fist bump by Big Bill McCarthy. Wild Bill. He goes by so many names. Beltran, 295, 20 kilo jump in the 105 juniors.
Bars loaded at 650 pounds.
Yeah, I'm just not sure about what Marshall's. I'm not sure.
I think he's in your head more than Pete's right now.
That's, yeah.
Let's go, MJ.
Whoa. It
just got stuck.
Yeah, it just got stuck above the knees. It was so fast off the ground.
He might have just pulled it almost too fast off to where he didn't anchor his hips in, so it could have been a little bit off balance for him where it got stuck over the quads. Or he'll save a little bit of energy and try to hit it again on his third. We'll see what happens.
And 240 for Travis Moody. 105 open.
We are already into third attempts here on the second flight.
2.5 kilo jump for Travis.
Bars loaded.
It's as small a jump as you could take, but Travis knows he's right on that limit.
Second attempt was a bit of a grind.
Might as well throw on another couple kilos if possible.
Good effort, Travis.
255 for Sean Martinez in the 120 open.
Bars loaded.
Seven and a half kilo jump, and Marshall changed his last deadlift to 270.
Hey, is that,
We're real close to that 30 kilos, just shy of 30 kilos we said.
yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Somewhere around the 30 kilo range. Ooh, are the shoulders back? It's going to be right on that line. The judges say, if I'm honest, I kind of saw that as well.
Yeah,
It was close.
It was borderline. It's tough to tell. It depends where the side judges are sitting too, if they can see that from their position.
260 for Marshall Powell. Wait, okay, it was 270, now we're 260.
Huh.
Well, all right then.
All right, well, this will still be an excellent meet for Marshall, his best yet. He's had flawless execution so far.
It'll put him at 642. Wait, let me do my math here.
Let us see what you got.
Yeah, will this be enough? Put him at 640.
I wish he could take a fourth attempt.
Yeah, that was.
Aw, that's an awesome day for Marshall. And regardless of the rivalry between him and Pete, he had a great meet.
And you know what? That's what it is. Like, you sometimes can get lost in these rivalries when, end of the day, you are looking for your own numbers and having personal bests. And regardless of what any of your opponents are doing on that day, that is a personal best for Marshall. 607.5 was his previous best PR. We're well beyond that. Reason to celebrate. Andres Soto, 275.
Let's go. Are you through? Push through. Finish.
A touch too heavy, came off the floor fast, but just a little bit harder at knockout.
We're seeing some hits, we're seeing some misses.
Bar is loaded.
And Pete
All
Spence,
right.
here he is, 277.5.
277 kilos.
Pete, if he hits this, wins this heavily hyped battle with his friend Marshall.
Oh man, perfect attempt call. He's done it.
Nicely done by Pete Spence. 3 white lights.
Again, if there wasn't even a matchup, Pete had a great day. He had some personal bests.
Yeah, regardless of the matchup, both men had a great day, pushing themselves to personal best lifts. Pete Spence narrowly taking it, and I see Marshall in the background coming out congratulating Pete with a shake of the hands.
Let's go, team.
All right, now a larger jump, as expected. I believe that's what, 55 kilos?
Yeah, Pete missed 232.5 on his opener, didn't come out in time. Wow, and took that massive jump to 287.5 with ease.
Probably a good call to take that larger jump after missing an attempt, basically, to build the total. So
295 for Matt Cronin.
Let's go, Matt.
Matt qualifying for the Nationals in a new weight class. Let's see what they say.
good.
2-1 good.
All right, same weight for Beltran. He's had a great day.
Yeah, missed this on his second. Let's see if he could regain and hit this, because as you said, squats, bench moved very well for him. And the brakes kind of just came on just above the knees, but very fast off the ground. And you had alluded to possibly the hips not in place in time, and if he could make some small corrections, maybe we could get there.
Of course, it's always hard to make these adjustments on meet day itself, so
Is he wearing squishy soled shoes?
kind of looks like it.
And that usually isn't what you want to, it appears as though. And that can also be an issue.
Oh, I think he's got it. Yep. He fought past the sticking point that he hit on his second. Let's see if it was a clean lift. I believe some up-down movement.
Yeah,
trying
he's-
to lock it out.
He's got to clean that up. I don't know if those are squishy soled shoes, but if they are, and you're pulling sumo, balance is definitely going to be an issue.
I think the refs almost said it might have been pitching. I couldn't quite tell what they were signaling to him at the end there, but regardless, good fight for him.
And that'll conclude the morning session as we take a look at the totals in deadlifts. We have so many different divisions, from sub-junior all the way up to masters, all the different weight classes. If you do want to check out how everyone ended up, we invite you to take a look at liftingcast.com to see all the rankings. And from Six Pack Lapidette and Natalie Richards, we hope you join us for the evening session, which will be 5 o'clock, where we have some stars looking to qualify for the Powerlifting America Nationals. Big names like Ashton Rauska, Bob Matthews, Jessica Espinal, Gabby Martinez, guest lifters like Jessica Bittner flying all the way from Canada. It's going to be a sensational show, so please do come back. Brought to you by SPD. We'll see you then.